Board Chairman, President, and beloved granddaughter of the Drum Major Institute. Please welcome to the stage Martin Luther King III, Andrea Waters King, and the beloved granddaughter, Yolanda King.
Good afternoon. I know it's been a long, hot day, so let's get right to it. It's been a long, hot day and an even longer, hot summer. I must be honest, it's been a difficult road to get here, and there have been times when I'm sure that everyone has felt this, there have been times when it all felt a bit too big. The forces against you a bit too daunting. And in these moments, you felt like giving up or sitting down for just a bit. I was talking to a dear friend about this feeling, and she advised me to get back to my why. And I immediately thought of the voice of the mother to her child in the Langston Hughes poems, Crystal Stair. It's a voice that reminds me of my own mother. Well, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I've been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps because you find it kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for I'm still going, honey. I'm still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. I thought about the Freedom Riders and SNCC, burnout houses, and about all those before us and all that they had endured, and I knew I couldn't stop. I thought about a daughter, all our children, who now have fewer rights than their parents at their age, fewer rights than their parents were promised and that their grandparents fought for, and I knew that I couldn't stop climbing. I thought about my friend Dr. Frida Milhouse Jones and how her medical practice was devastated by gun violence, how a patient sitting in the waiting room lost her life that day, Amy St. Pierre. I thought about the fact that her two young children experienced their first Mother's Day without their mom, the beginning of a new school year without their mom, and I knew that I had to keep climbing. I thought about A.J. Owens being slaughtered in front of her children in Ocala, Florida, murdered doing what mothers do, defending them, and I knew that we must keep climbing. I thought about neo-Nazis standing at the gates of Disney World, greeting families preparing for a day of lifelong happy memories with hate. What did the mothers tell their children that day? I thought about Lori Carlton, a mother of 9, 25 years after brutal slaying of Matthew Shepard, shot and killed for hanging a flag, a pride flag outside of her own business. And I knew that we must all keep climbing. So my friends, we will keep climbing. We are here to liberate the soul of the nation, the soul of democracy from those forces who would have us all go backwards and perish rather than go forward as sisters and brothers. We will never betray those who marched for us, fought for us, lived for us, died for us. We are the children and the grandchildren of their struggles, and we will be worthy of their sacrifices. This is about freedom. This is about peace. This is about love. This is about our children. We are not here for commemoration. We are here for rededication to the fight for a future where at long last America's practice will be as good as its promise. And today, hate is being shaken to its core. Walls are crashing down, walls of racism, bigotry, intolerance, anti-Semitism, xenophobia. And as they tumble down, you will hear the sounds of liberation and love. That's what happens when we stand together, when we climb together. Today, let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around us in awareness. And let me say to the women, we weren't able to speak in 1963, but we are here in 2023. And women are unwavering warriors. I know that we stand in different faiths, but let's go to the Bible for a moment. Moses was able to tell Pharaoh, let my people go, only because he was saved by his sister Miriam as an infant. Deborah helped lead the Israelites to victory out of bondage. Esther risked her life to save her people. And let's just go to the story of Easter as I close. After all of the disciples had fled, it was women who stood at the foot of the cross. Jesus' body was released to a mother. Women prepared his body for burial. Women stood outside his tomb, and it was to a woman that he first appeared after the resurrection. Women are unwavering warriors, and today we will no longer be silenced. Thank you very much, Yolanda Renee King.
Good afternoon. I mean, how am I supposed to go after that? Please give my mom a round of applause. If I could speak to my grandfather today, I would say, I am sorry we still have to be here to rededicate ourselves to finishing your work and ultimately realizing your hidden dream. 60 years ago, Dr. King urged us to struggle against the triple evils of racism, poverty, and bigotry. Today, racism is still with us. Poverty is still with us. And now, gun violence has come for our places of worship, our schools, and our shopping centers. And that's not the only problem that earlier generations didn't expect, but my generation cannot escape. We have been warned about air and water pollution. We have been warned about global warming. And now, all my life, we have worried about environmental justice for communities of color and under-resourced people everywhere. But this summer, and for the rest of our lives, my generation will be worrying about global boiling. We need to do more than end racism on our planet. We need to do more than end poverty on our planet. We need to save our planet. When people say my generation is cynical, we say cynicism is a luxury we cannot afford. If you look like me, you could have fewer voting rights on your 18th birthday than America promised you on the day you were born. Let's think about that for a second. Fewer rights than we were promised. If you're a young woman like me, you could have fewer personal rights. And no matter who you are, you could be less safe from random gun violence and irreversible climate change. That's why I believe that my generation will be defined by action, not apathy. And so the next piece that I will be sharing with you all will be very interactive, and I want you to repeat this chant that some of you may have heard, and I've done this throughout the years, and I've shared it with people, and so I think that we really need this during this really critical moment in our history. So I would encourage everyone to stand up and repeat these words after me. Spread the word! Have you heard? All across the nation. We are going to be a great generation. Now, one thing about making an impact is that you have to be powerful, and I think that we have so much power. So I want you to fight the heat, and we're going to put some more energy into it. Are you all ready? Spread the word! Have you heard? All across the nation. We are going to be a great generation. Now they say that the third time is the charm. So we have to do it one more time. If we want the world to hear this, if we want future generations to hear this, if we want to really make an impact, I want you to say it in your loudest voice. Spread the word! Have you heard? All across the nation. Now give yourselves a hand. And everyone, please welcome my father.
As I stand here this afternoon on this representation of the 60th anniversary, as you know, it is actually Monday. But I'm going to do something a little different because our time, I'm told, has been cut to about less than 5 minutes. And Reverend Sharpton must come up. But I want to let you know how I'm feeling today. Because I'm very concerned about the direction our country is going in. And it is because instead of moving forward, it feels as if we're moving backward. The question is, what are we going to do? Do we realize that it is we the people who can make changes, represent history in the right way, ensure that hatred and hostility is not espoused all over our nation? As you know, my mother and father dedicated their lives to embracing love and lifting up the goodness in people. In fact, if somebody was 90% bad, Dad would focus on the 10% good and work to extract that from them. And so Andrea shared a lot, Yolanda shared a lot. I don't have to say that much this time. There will be other times. But we need us all to be engaged. Dad would probably say, now is the time. We must preserve, protect, and expand democracy. We must ensure that voting rights is protected for all people. We must ensure that our women and children are treated fairly. We must end gun violence. And then, maybe one day we will be a great nation. We are not personifying greatness right now. But you know what? Dad and Mom taught us it takes a few good women and men to bring about change. So as I get ready to close, you may ask the question, well, Brother King, we understand what happened with history. We don't like it or accept it. We understand what happened with voting rights. We don't like it, but we must change it. But you may be asking that question that my father asked back in the late 50s. How long will it be? Well, I don't know exactly how long it'll be. But what I do know is no lie can last forever. How long, you may ask, will it be before we get our freedom? I don't know, but truth, trust the earth will rise again. How long? Not long. Because the moral arc of the universe is long, but bends toward justice. How long? Not long, because God Almighty is still on the throne. Let's not give up. Let's not give in. Let's not give out. We must move forward to make this nation the nation that it ought to be for all of God's children. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to your feet and let's welcome the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice. No justice. No justice. We're not going to take long because we have to move out for tomorrow.